Thank you, Madam Chair, and I thank the ranking member. I thank the witnesses for being here today. I'm very pleased to be here and also to be a co-sponsor of Senator Barrasso's bill. Many people think of the shale boom as occurring in the western states, like Senator Barrasso's home state of Wyoming, but that is not the case, as we know. The eastern United States and my home state of West Virginia have been blessed with vast shale gas reserves, and we are just discovering really how massive they are. If I could illustrate the point for a few minutes, let me share you a few facts from the December 2014 Department of Energy report on oil and gas reserves in the United States. In 2013, West Virginia surpassed Oklahoma to become the third largest shale gas reserve state. West Virginia also had the second largest discoveries of natural gas reserves, behind only Pennsylvania. And in fact, a full 70% of the 2013 increase in proven gas reserves is because of West Virginia and Pennsylvania in the Marcellus Shale play. We have more than enough gas to power both an industrial renaissance back home in West Virginia and to export liquefied natural gas. Supplying LNG to our friends and allies decreases their dependence on an often hostile regimes in the Middle East and Russia, as we've heard from the testimony, and a result will increase our own national security, not to mention a huge economic boon to certain areas of the country and certainly my state of West Virginia. I'd like to start with a question for Mr. Smith, just really briefly. As you know, the Cove Point LNG facility in Maryland has received a finding of no significant impact on November the 5th of 2014. That was nearly 3 months ago. Can you give this committee an idea of when the DOE expects to provide final approval of the Cove Point LNG application?
Thank you for the question, Senator. So under our current process, we move on these applications in the public interest determination once they've completed the FERC process. That includes all of the deliberations that FERC has to make, including the final notice for rehearing in that process. So we watch these as they go through the FERC process. It's our expectation that that would probably be concluding probably in the February timeframe. And so depending on FERC finishing that process, that would allow us to move forward with our final determination.
Thank you. Thank you. As we all know, the estimates of what the actual reserves are is sort of a moving target. It started slower, and it seems to be expanding greatly. I like the way Mr. Eisenberg framed it, that everybody's winning. But I'm curious to know from you, Mr. Eisenberg and Mr. Durbin, as these estimates of the vast resource change, how do your projections on the economic impact that will have and job creation and manufacturing resurgence, how does that change in your estimates, and how closely are you monitoring that as we look at what the vast reserves actually provide?
So our policy and frankly the will of the manufacturers that I speak for is to have a stable, secure, and consistent supply of natural gas. And so because we use it not only for electricity but also as a feedstock for the many things that we do. That's a lot of what I do for a living. I mean, that's basically, we need to keep an eye on the policies that are coming out of Washington and the states and places like that to make sure that manufacturers can still continue to do what they do. And so obviously, yes, the supply matters significantly. We are now, staring at a situation where EIA every single year tells us we have more and more and more. And so we're very, very optimistic and continue to be optimistic.
Okay. Mr. Durbin, do you have a response to that?
Yes, and I get in my written testimony, show a chart that EIA puts in there showing the difference in the projections on reserves from 2009 through today. And I mentioned that. And again, the point is it's dynamic. And what we're saying every year, it's increasing. But I think what's really important about this and critical, even this morning, EIA put out a new paper, a new report, or I should say a statement, talking about the vast increases in ethane crackers and propane facilities, all driven by these natural gas liquids that are being produced with these greater reserves.
Right. We're seeing that in West Virginia, certainly. And I should mention that the Brazilian chemical manufacturing company, Odebrecht Braskem, is looking to site a major cracker in West Virginia, which will have major residual economic benefits to that region, and hopefully a resurgence of our chemical industry, which has shrunk quite a bit over the last several years because of the usage of the natural gas as a feedstock. You know, I understand, Mr. Smith, just quickly, when you're looking at these, well, I think my time's up, and I know we're under. As a good former House member, I know that I should quit when the red thing comes on, so thank you. I'll learn to talk through it eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.